Good morning and a big hey now, everybody out there. Make sure you guys can hear me. You want to give me a response in the chat? I think we're good. We're good. All right. Wonderful day. Just going through some information here. It's another HEX Bond Desk update. It's this concept of looking at the at HEX, at other related tokens, actuator protocol, etc. Big news of the day is that HEX has reclaimed the 111-day moving average. So let's go take a look at that. That's an encouraging sign. Haven't seen that. This is like the most positive thing we've seen in a very long time. After months of weakness. Meanwhile, the HEX bond market continues to mature with growing liquidity. Right, we're seeing liquidity grow. Looking at expansion of maturities, people putting in what looks like a treasury ladder and strong HTT minting activity. It's still pretty small, but I mean, it's getting big. It's getting bigger. Looking at the market snapshot, the HEX Pulse pair gained roughly about 4.5%. It maintained that over the last 24 hours. Most of the HTTs continue to trade at a meaningful discount to HEX. More than 2.8 million today were minted the last 24 hours. And this was led by HTT 8000s. So the 8000s were the ones that really were moving. Let's take a look to see what the list looks like. Oh, yeah. All right, there's our Maxi and Desi. Just looking at the mints, these change moment to moment, of course, as people do transactions, but you can see the 8000s leading with 1.2 million, almost 1.3 million, all the way down to HTT 2460, which ends in about 40 days for 300,000. So you see some of the different mintings that are going on, and for a total of 2.8 million. 2.8 million. All right. So that's what we've got there. All right, looking at the snapshot, let me take this down because it'll be a little bit easier if we look at the visual, and then we can look at the actual chart stuff first, afterwards. Excuse me. Let's take that down. All right, good morning, Chuck. Check's my pulse. Or Rez, good to see you. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Let's go. All right, so best buy right now, HTT 3000. We saw people doing some things with the 3000s, possibly repositioning, brought the price down a little bit, but with the price coming down, it increased the fixed ROI to over 31%, and that looks cheap. The APR is almost 20%. Pretty crazy. You know, so that basically somebody swapping into HTT 3000 could realize a 30% increase in their HEX units if they hold the redemption. Best premium. 6,000 remains the best premium opportunity for minters and amplified stake strategies. However, somebody has been amplifying HTT 6000s, and so proceed with caution on, make sure it's something that you want to do and you understand what you're doing. My very conservative numbers show it just being on the edge. And in fact, the 8000 looks like a better way to do that. But the amplification 8000s means that you don't have them for LP or farming, if that's what your strategy is. So different things for different people. The best liquidity continues to be the HTT 7000. We saw it go over 6 figures. Right, so it was over 6 figures. It came down just a little tiny bit. Yeah, let's see, 7,000. Yeah, just on the verge. So we see some price movement back over 100K for that particular pool. And it's really healthy trading volume. We had quite a lot of volume yesterday through HTTs and the actuator token itself. LPX doing its job. Best return right now is the HTT 7900. It offers the highest long-term fixed return, and at the time of doing this, 117%. And that, again, all these numbers change, right? Change as we go. Let's see, featured vault 8,000. We're climbing. We're somewhere a little bit over 14.6 million now. An actuator being deposited there, and 1.29 million HTT 8000s minted. Right? So I think what it's doing is reinforcing this idea of the future of 8000s, and that may see quite a bit of minting. Now, people have come back to me and said, "Hey, wait a minute. Why do I even care about getting those HTTs? How do I figure it out?" And here's my answer with the Actuator token going in the vaults. You can either, if you're farming and you're receiving Actuator, you can either treat it as a reward token, in which case the best bet is to sell when you are ready in order to take value, or you treat it as a revenue token. Now, as a reward token, you can see the price on the chart, and you can look at your own slippage, etc. when you go to do trade, and you can make your own decisions. Pretty easy to know what the value of Actuator is because it's following the chart. However, when we talk about it being a revenue token, I don't have any way to tell you, to calculate, hey, what is the value of an Actuator token? Just don't know, right? Why don't I know? Because the Actuator token is a token that forever can be put into vaults, and I don't know what the value of that is going to be. And so that's why it is a high risk, high reward to hold on to the Actuator. But people who are within the ecosystem continue to deposit it in order to get HTTs, and that is a speculation on HEX, right? The idea that HEX will have a major run, and therefore HTTs have a major run, and HTTs are HEX in the future, so they are valuable, and therefore Actuator is valuable, and people are holding on to it instead of dumping it into the LPs. I mean, there's only about 20 million, I think, available in LP out of 1 billion. And we're at 775 million, something like that, have been minted already. So it's quite a little bit. All right, emerging opportunities. The monthly HTT ladder continues to expand. So we've seen 2850, 2880 through 3000 added. I saw that somebody had done HTT 2460, which ends in about 40 days. So if you're interested in that type of a thing, you can start looking at that. Maybe do a little bit of search on Treasury, 30-day Treasuries. I'll give you an idea what might be behind this whole concept. And then, of course, the biggest opportunity appears to be that HTT 3000 based on price. We talked about packaged products. The DESI right now looks like an estimated 19% APR year over year through its redemption, and Maxi at about 11.47. So 11%. So a little bit lower. Maxi is a longer stake, but you're getting more of a return from Maxi. And as always with any of these things, if you're looking at them, just make sure you're checking slippage, liquidity, etc., because some pushing buttons can eat up quite a bit. All right. Well, let's peruse a little bit of information before we close out. If you guys have any questions, I do see a question out there, so I'll answer that here in a second. Let's just take a look at what we got. I'm going to go to the stage. All right. Yeah, so just real high level observations. Somebody pointed out today, I don't know if it's still the case right this moment. So we had some time travel type trades that are available. We have the 8000s here that are running about a 0.54 hex. Anything with a lower value, you could actually move from an 8000 to 8000 to 7900, 777. All the way down to 6666. All right, so we have those time trades that might be available, 7000s downwards into 666s or upwards. Right? 7000s go out longer, you get more units. Now these are small amounts with this kind of LP, but it again illustrates the way you can change in your bond market thinking as we go along. The most prominent one was the 4000s to 3000s. The 4000s are priced just slightly higher than 3000s. So somebody could come in with a good good amount of HEX, almost 1 million HEX, maybe 500,000. But you can come in with a 500,000 HEX and do an HTT 4000 stake, mint, and swap for 3,000 and have just a little bit more units, but you get your HEX back 1,000 days, almost 3 years later. Earlier. So you see that happening. So there's the time trades that are out there. Of course, there are other people that might be looking at the discount or looking at fixed ROIs or APR. It really depends, right? I mean, I would think that people who are interested in long-term HEX are probably moved more by a fixed ROI. Like how many more HEX will I have because I go into one? And this is when you're swapping forward off the market. But there's other people, and particularly if we compare it to TradFi bond market, they're going to be looking at APRs. They want to earn APR. Now remember, depending on how you're approaching this, whether it's through the staking itself or through swapping into these, people can come just swap into these and get what we believe is a fixed APR 1-to-1 till the day of redemption. And so, yeah, I mean, in a bigger market with more liquidity right now, the major nodes make the most sense, to be able to move around based on that. But perhaps there's other strategies people will come up with as we go along. So you have that going on. Let's take a quick look over here. We already looked at this. We looked at the minted. We can see the actuator balances are going up 272 million. Actuator now in the vaults. Top line dashboard information off of Actuator.Finance. We can basically say the same things we were just saying. 7900s are the best fixed return in HEX on 117%. The best premium is the 6,000 for minting and selling, followed by the 8,000s conditionally based on your strategy. HTT 3,000 best for buying, quote unquote, not financial advice, but it's just the one that's the steepest discount based on the time that's remaining. If we looked at the amplification chart, again, I'm using, and if anybody has a suggestion about this, let me know. I'm using this payout curve that I built, right? So I have these estimates about what the payouts will be in the future. And so it's very conservative. So I'm comfortable with sharing that and looking at that because I feel it's conservative, right? So I'm not overstating what's going to happen, in my opinion. And so when I use that, this is the curve that's created. And you can see that all the way up until 6,000, better to stake, and maybe even better to take them off the market by swapping in rather than amplifying. But you get to day 6,000, we're right on the edge. Amplification just gives you a little tiny edge right now on the 6,000s, but that's using my payout schedule. If I change the payout schedule and make it higher, this will look like a much bigger amplification opportunity, right? It does change the curve. Then you go, it's more of the same as we go out further, all the way until you get to the day 8,000s. And the day 8,000s right now, again, it's a little premature to start amplifying because it does reserve, the contract reserves a little bit more collateral in escrow until we get out into when you can do a Quattro Cinco and it matches day 8,000. But that's also a pretty big premium difference, between amplified staking 123% versus 102%. So I see people actively learning about Actuator all day long, trying different things, new wallets, new approaches, new discussions. So it's all really good. I'm pretty happy about that. Looking at the farms, we can see that 3,000s are paying 28.8% APR. That means that LP has been put up with HEX and deposited in the farm, and it gets paid out with the ACTR token, Actuator token. So HTT 3000s, 28.8%, 4000s, 43%, 5000s, 42.2%, 6000s, 39.5%, 7000s, 32.5%. So you might see if somebody's really paying attention to this and they want to get a little bit of an edge, you might see them migrate to the HTT 4000s for the time being. It's a little bit higher, but between the 4,000 to the 5,000s, they're paying the most, right? And so we've seen in the past with farms just in general is that capital moves when it feels like it earned a little bit more, so move back and forth between these. And with that, I think that's it. Oh, one last thing, share rate changes. We'll do this real quick and take a look at it. We're looking at the share rate changes. Yesterday, we did see a couple, 2 or 3 come in for the pulse chain, bringing the rate up about 10-ish X per t-shirt. 3 of them right in a row. These are like little mini difficulty adjustments going upwards. And so with that, that's all I have. Let's see what we have for questions, and then we'll close out. Just taking a look. Yeah, I saw you checks out there. Poco Lips, good to see you. Is staking on GoHex still good? Yes, you can do native staking there. Now, I can't tell you what's happening with the site. I know some changes were made. I know that they're giving people the ability to switch between RPC mode versus using perhaps the graphel, the subgraph that's out there. I haven't actually gone to the site myself and messed around with it, but it's still there. Though I did see some messages about the GoTshare.app and other things asking about what's going on and whether things should be working, not working. I'm not tied in with those dev teams, so I don't know for sure. I'm working off of public information like everybody else, so take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. We'll say, Tim, good to see you, as always. Hope you're having fun. Thanks for sharing. You guys share, share, send it away. I'm going to do a T-share report a little bit later today. We'll go in a little bit more detail. And working for the weekend for more T-shares, listening on the grind. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's all I have for you folks today. It's just another HEX Bond market update, and just giving you an idea where we're at with this. Very curious to see how all this develops over time. It's nice to have some action in the old HEX. And with that, let's go ahead and close out, and we'll see you next time. You guys stay crazy.
Yo, T, urgent HEX buy signal. Charts flaming hot.
Golden ratio, huh? That's how legends stack T-shares.
Get them while they're crispy, folks. This window won't stay open long.
Stake smart. Win big. Time rewards those who act.
Stay crispy, Hexicans.
You gotta move it, move it! Feel the rhythm of the blockchain.